Do you ever feel completely and utterly exhausted? Not just tired, but a deep, bone-deep exhaustion that sleep doesn't seem to fix. Do you feel overwhelmed, cynical, and emotionally drained, like you're running on a treadmill that's constantly speeding up, and you can't find the off button? This feeling, this state of being, has a name. It's called burnout. And you've probably been told that the reason you feel this way is because you have too much to do, that your to-do list is too long. The solution, we're told, is to manage our time better, to be more productive, to just get all the things on the list done. But what if that's only half the story? What if you can deal with every single thing on your to-do list and still feel completely burned out? In their life-changing book, Burnout, The Secret to Unlocking the Stress Cycle, sisters Emily and Amelia Nagoski revealed a profound biological secret to understanding and healing from burnout. And it begins with a revolutionary idea. Dealing with your stress is a completely separate process from dealing with the things that cause your stress. This is not just a book of tips for self-care. It is a scientific and philosophical user's manual for your own body, a guide to finally, truly completing the stress cycle and coming home to yourself. The two monsters, stressors and stress. The single most important, game-changing idea in this entire book is that you are dealing with two separate things. On one hand, you have the stressors. On the other hand, you have the stress itself. And we have been taught to only deal with the first one. Let's use the Nagoski sisters' brilliant analogy. Imagine you are a prehistoric human, walking on the savannah. Suddenly, a giant lion leaps out from behind a bush. The lion is the stressor. It is the external thing that is causing the problem. The moment your brain perceives the lion, it flips a switch. It floods your body with a powerful cocktail of hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. Your heart rate skyrockets, your muscles tense up, your digestion shuts down. This powerful physiological response is the stress. It is the biological process your body uses to prepare you to deal with the threat, to either fight the lion or more likely to run away from it as fast as you possibly can. Now let's say you do it. You run. You run for your life and you manage to escape the lion. You find a safe cave and you hide there with your friends and family. The stressor, the lion, is now gone. The problem is solved, right? Wrong. This is the crucial mistake we all make. The lion is gone, but your body is still completely flooded with all that stress chemistry. Your hands are still shaking, your heart is still pounding, your muscles are still clenched. The stress response is still active. To your body, the threat is not over until you do something to signal that you are now safe. You have to complete the stress response cycle. In our prehistoric example, this happened naturally. After you escaped the lion, you would have probably run into the arms of your loved ones. You would have jumped up and down. You would have shouted and celebrated. You would have told the story of your escape, maybe laughing with relief, maybe crying with fear. And in doing all of that, you would have been burning off all those stress hormones. You would have been signaling to your body on a deep primal level, the threat is gone, I survived, I am safe now. And only then would your body return to a state of calm and relaxation. You have to deal with the lion, and then you have to deal with the leftover feelings. Now let's bring this to the modern world. Your stressors are no longer lions. Your stressors are a looming deadline at work, a pile of bills on the kitchen counter, a difficult conversation you have to have with a family member, or the constant low-grade hum of systemic sexism and unrealistic expectations. These are our modern-day lions. We are actually very good at dealing with our stressors. We finish the deadline, we pay the bills, we have the conversation, we slay the lion, and then what do? We sit down at our desk, we open our laptop, and we start looking for the next lion to slay. We never do the second essential part of the process. We never complete the stress cycle. And so, our bodies are left marinating day after day, year after year, in a toxic, corrosive bath of unmetabolized stress hormones. Burnout, the Nagoski sisters argue, is the predictable and inevitable result of our bodies being constantly stuck in the middle of the stress cycle, never getting the signal that we are safe. How to complete the stress cycle? A practical toolkit. So, if the secret to avoiding burnout is completing the stress cycle, how do we actually do it? The good news is that our bodies already know how. We just have to give them permission and the opportunity. The Nagoski sisters, drawing on decades of scientific research, provide a toolkit of simple, powerful, and evidence-based strategies to signal to your body that the threat is over and you are safe. The single most efficient and effective way to complete the cycle is physical activity. This is the most ancient and direct strategy. When you are stressed, your body is primed to move, to run from the lion. So, moving your body is the most powerful signal you can send that you have in fact, survived. This doesn't mean you have to go run a marathon. It can be a brisk 20-minute walk. It can be dancing around your living room to your favorite song. It can be a series of jumping jacks. It can be punching a pillow. Any kind of physical movement that gets your heart rate up and your body moving will help to metabolize the stress hormones and complete the cycle. A second powerful tool is breathing, specifically deep, slow breathing. When you are stressed, your breathing becomes shallow and rapid. By consciously slowing down your breath, you can directly activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your body's built-in relaxation response. A simple technique is to breathe in for a slow count of 5, hold it for 5, breathe out for a slow count of 10, and pause for 5. Doing this for just a few cycles sends a powerful signal from your lungs to your brain that says, all is well, you are safe, you can relax. Another key strategy is positive social interaction. This doesn't mean you have to have a deep, soul-bearing conversation. It can be as simple as a casual, friendly chat with the barista at your coffee shop, or complimenting a stranger on their dog. These small, low-stakes, and friendly social interactions are a powerful signal to our ancient, tribal brains that we are in a safe, supportive community. Laughter is another profound stress cycle completer. A deep, real belly laugh, the kind that makes your stomach hurt and your eyes water, is an incredible release. It causes you to breathe deeply and it relaxes the tension in your body. It's a social signal that you are safe and with people you trust. Affection is also a crucial tool. The book highlights a simple but powerful prescription. A 20-second hug. A quick polite hug won't do it, but a long, sustained hug with someone you love and trust, long enough for your bodies to relax into each other, releases a flood of hormones like oxytocin and serotonin that signal warmth, trust, and safety. A 20-second hug can change your entire hormonal state. And sometimes the best way to complete the cycle is with a big ol' cry. We are often taught that crying is a sign of weakness, that we should hold it in. But the Nagoski sisters show that this is terrible advice. Crying is your body's built-in pressure release valve. It is a natural and healthy way to move stress out of your body. A good cry is not a sign that you are broken. It is a sign that your body is working perfectly to heal itself. And finally, there is creative expression. Engaging in any kind of creative act, whether it's painting or playing music or writing in a journal or gardening, is a powerful way to process and express the big emotions that are trapped inside you. It allows you to take the chaotic energy of your stress and transform it into something beautiful, something meaningful, something that is outside of you. These are not just nice ideas. These are evidence-based, biological mechanisms for completing the stress cycle. The book's radical and empowering message is that you need to build these activities into your day, every day, with the same intention and priority that you give to your work and your family. Dealing with your stress is not a luxury, it is a non-negotiable part of being a healthy and functioning human being. The invisible enemy, human giver syndrome. So if the solution is that simple, why is it so hard for so many of us to do it? This is where the book dives into the deep, and often invisible cultural forces that create a state of chronic burnout, particularly for women. The Nagoski sisters identify a central toxic myth that they call human giver syndrome. Human giver syndrome is the socially enforced belief that some people, overwhelmingly women, have a moral obligation to be a human giver. A human giver is expected to be at all times pretty, happy, calm, generous, and completely attentive to the needs of others. They are expected to give their time, their energy, their emotions, and their bodies cheerfully and without complaint. Their own needs, desires, and ambitions are expected to come second. At the other end of the spectrum are the human beings, who are allowed to have their own needs, and are entitled to have the human givers take care of them. This is not a conscious belief that most of us hold. It is a deep, insidious piece of cultural programming that has been passed down for generations. It is the reason why women are so often praised for being selfless, while men are praised for being ambitious. It is the reason why women still carry a disproportionate burden of emotional labor in their families and their workplaces. Human giver syndrome is the ultimate systemic stressor. It creates a situation where a woman is expected to pour everything she has into the bucket of her family, her job, and her community, but she is actively discouraged from doing the things that would refill her own bucket. She is told that taking time for herself, for physical activity, for her own creative expression is selfish. She is trapped in a state of constant giving, which is a direct and unavoidable path to burnout. The book is a powerful call to unlearn this toxic programming, to recognize that you are not a human giver but a human being, and that you have not just a right but a moral obligation to care for your own well-being with the same fierce devotion that you give to others. The rigged game of the bikini industrial complex. Another major systemic stressor that the book tackles is the immense and often cruel pressure of unrealistic beauty standards. The Nagoski sisters call this the bikini industrial complex. It is the multi-billion-dollar industry of diet books, fashion magazines, and social media influencers that profits by creating a gap between the way women's bodies naturally are and a constantly shifting, impossibly perfect ideal. This is not a problem of vanity, it is a problem of biology. Your brain has an internal manager, what the book calls the monitor, whose job is to compare your current state to your desired state. When there is a gap, the monitor triggers a stress response to motivate you to close that gap. The bikini industrial complex creates a gap that is impossible to close. It presents a digitally altered, genetically unrealistic ideal of a perfect body, and then it tells women that their own real normal body is a problem to be fixed. This means that for many women, the monitor is in a state of constant high-alert stress every single day. Every time they look in the mirror, every time they see an advertisement, they are receiving a signal that they are not good enough, that they have failed. This is a rigged game you can't win, and the book's advice is radical. It is to stop playing. It is to recognize that the game is a lie, designed to sell you things. It is to practice radical self-compassion, to learn to treat your own body with kindness and respect, not as an object to be perfected, but as the amazing, miraculous home that you live in. The meaning that makes it all worthwhile. So, we know we have to complete the stress cycle, and we know we have to fight back against the systemic stressors like human giver syndrome. But there is one final crucial ingredient to a burnout-proof life, and that is meaning. The opposite of burnout is not just rest, it is a sense of purpose. The Nagoski sisters describe this as a connection to your something larger. This is the deep, abiding feeling that your life, with all its struggles and frustrations, has a purpose. Your something larger could be your religion, your family, your art, your commitment to a social cause, your pursuit of knowledge. It is the thing that you care about so deeply that it makes the daily frustrations of life feel meaningful. When you are connected to a sense of meaning, you are not just running from lions, you are running towards something. This provides a powerful emotional and psychological buffer against the stressors of life. It is the why that allows you to endure almost any how. The book encourages us to actively identify and cultivate our own personal sense of meaning. It is the feast that nourishes us and gives us the strength to continue dealing with the stress. The ultimate message of burnout is one of profound compassion and empowerment. It is a reminder that you are a human animal, with a body that is still designed for the prehistoric savanna. Your feelings of stress and exhaustion are not a sign that you are weak or broken, they are a sign that your body is working perfectly, but that you are stuck in the middle of a biological process. The book gives us the scientific language to understand that process, and the practical, evidence-backed tools to finally complete the cycle. It is a guide to learning how to live in our bodies with more wisdom, more compassion, and more joy. If you are ready to stop blaming yourself and start living a more balanced and meaningful life, you are in the right place. Welcome to Geeky Philosopher. Subscribe, and let's continue to explore the philosophies that help us to be well.